Germany's foreign minister wants common values to be at the core of the new government's approach to foreign and economic policy. Annalena Baerbock says issues like human rights and climate change should drive policy decisions. But that could set Germany on a collision course with some of its most important trading partners.
Already in the thick of it, observers say Germany's new foreign minister is making a confident start. Annalena Baerbock has already taken a firm stance on a controversial gas pipeline linking Germany with Russia. Nord Stream 2 is primed and ready, but awaits official approval. And the Green Party politician has her reservations. European energy law applies to energy projects, including Nord Stream 2, and that means, as things stand, the pipeline cannot be approved. Germany's approach to China may also be about to change. Beijing's treatment of the Muslim Uyghur minority in Xinjiang has drawn enormous criticism in the West. However, many German firms have operations in the region, making German politicians reluctant to speak out. But Baerbock says she plans to take a tougher line on China than her predecessors. The new German government looks set to be on a similar wavelength to the U.S. when it comes to handling Moscow and Beijing.
For more on this, let's talk to Teresa Fallon. She is the founder of the Center for Russia, Europe, Asia Studies in Brussels. So as we saw in that report, Annalena Baerbock really wants to focus on human rights, environmental policy in this new foreign policy approach. But how does that really go down with Germany's biggest trading partner, China?
Well, that's a very good question. We've seen language coming out of Beijing warning the new government. And the two things that they really dislike most of all is the language of systemic rival. They don't want Europe, especially Germany, to see China as a systemic rival. And that, under the Greens, is kind of the whole overarching idea of how they're looking at China. So this is a big change from the previous Merkel government.
So we've heard this before, also from the Merkel government, that Germany needs to take a tougher approach to its trading partners. But of course, there's a huge economic component here, with China being a big market for a lot of German companies. How serious can we really expect this new government to be in this approach?
We've seen China use its toolbox of economic coercion, where they even use German companies to lobby on Beijing's behalf. So this is something I think that's very worrying. Over the years, people have not been paying attention to the issues of elite capture coupled with economic coercion. So I think this is a huge problem to tackle. Internally in Germany as well as EU-wide, we know that the new German government has made climate, COVID, and infrastructure their key issues, especially coming up to the G7. But I think that China has been way ahead of everybody, and they have cultivated these networks of influence. So it might be very, very difficult to overcome. And we're seeing, especially if they want to push the climate agenda, the cooperation with China, especially in regard to batteries and solar panels. So China holds kind of an ace card on that. So it will be interesting to see how they can match the rhetoric with the reality of the economic aspects of the relationship.
Also on the issue of climate change, we've heard from Germany that they obviously want to have relationships with countries that are upholding the same environmental standards. Obviously, we know a lot of developing countries, like those in India, Indonesia, haven't really been doing that so far. How will that impact companies' investments in these countries?
Well, the rhetoric and the reality, those are two very key issues. We know that Germany has an Indo-Pacific strategy, so they want to kind of diversify away from China. So those are key countries that you mentioned, India and Indonesia, and maybe they can help shape policy because we're all in this climate catastrophe together. So I think that the idea of kind of transactional for investment to improve environmental standards, I think, is a key ask, and I think that Germany can play a big role in that.
That is Teresa Fallon from the Center for Russia, Europe, Asia Studies in Brussels. Thank you so much.